Right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. This is Alicia McPeak, and I'm going to be hosting along with Kenna. Say hi, Kenna. Everybody can see you. Hello. We have a couple other hosts, but they're not here because of very important reasons, which we'll let them announce when they come back. So this is a community wellness group. It's called Mommy and Me, and we are brought to you by the Healthy Living Revolution. We're here to meet families where they are and inspire positive change along the way. And what we really like to do is feature moms, local moms who are treading a new path, making a difference. They may have a business of their own. And what we've decided to do each month is a variation, not of this. We're going to share a product that we really like that has something to do with bringing up babies and children naturally. We're going to have an educational piece. So Taylor's our product girl this month. We're going to have an education piece, which will be next week, and that's we're going to educate on homeopathy. We'll have a community share, which this month's going to be about tower gardening, and we will have a mommy's night out one Friday, and we got some special ones coming up that we've planned. I'm really excited about. And lastly, this month we're going to have a service, and this month is going to be Holistic Heritage Home Birth Midwives are going to be sharing with everybody about why not have a baby at home, which I think is very timely right now with all the different kinds of restrictions and things that are going on. So we're excited for you to join us, and we just really want to help inspire positive changes with you guys along your journey and your path. Now, in order to be included in our giveaways and drawings, you absolutely have to drop your name in the comments below. So if you are live on Facebook, we don't know you're there if you don't say hi. So you have to say hi. And if you know who invited you to the event, say their name too. That would be great. If you're here on Zoom, same thing in the chat, just say hello. Let us know who invited you. And Kenna's going to keep track. Are you keeping track, Kenna? Is that okay? I didn't even ask her for the wheel of names, because at the end, we've got some really cool giveaways that we want to give away today. So I'd like to introduce to you, everybody, Taylor DeSalle. Say hello, Taylor.
Hi, guys.
She is here. I'm going to switch to speaker view. She's here with her own company called Hudson James Design Co. And she has the cutest little products that I've ever seen. I really like them because they're all handmade and they're made of natural materials, which I really like. But I really like the fact that she's sharing with you her journey to the place where she found her way to this business. And this has to do with something that a lot of moms can relate to. And I think it's stigma, and there's a lot of nobody talking about it, honestly. And then you feel really bad as a mom, like there's something wrong with you if you are not 100% completely over the moon, overjoyed when you have a baby. And the reality is, it's just not always that way, right, Taylor?
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, tell everybody where you are, how many kids you have, all that kind of stuff, and then go ahead and start sharing your journey with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Taylor DeSalle. I live in College Station, Texas. However, I was raised in the Woodlands, where I think a lot of you guys are. And I am married to my husband, Kyle. I have a son, Hudson, who my company is named after. And I'm currently 9 weeks pregnant. So I've got 2 little babies. I also babysit a 6-month-old baby, so I've got lots of babies in my life. And then I'm the owner of Hudson James Design Co. My struggle with perinatal mental health started when I was pregnant, and to be really honest, it was very much because of a situation that I was in. I had just started a new job before I got pregnant that I was really excited about. It seemed like it was going to offer me the best of all of what I wanted. I knew that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I didn't think that was going to be feasible for our family, and this job was going to allow me the flexibility of working from home, creating my own schedule, and still bringing in an income, which sounded really exciting. However, throughout my pregnancy, I started realizing that their values did not quite align with my own. But at this point, I'm already pregnant and I'm really excited about the freedom of this job. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with it, even though it was really weighing on my conscience. And so that was months of my pregnancy that I really started struggling with depression. It was hard to be excited about my baby when there was so many financial fears and things like that. And then when right before I got pregnant, or I'm sorry, right before I had Hudson, so I went in on Friday. They threw me a baby shower, which was so sweet. And then we had a Friday meeting, kind of similar to this. It's a conference call. Everyone goes into the office, and then we have a regional conference call. They announced that our company was being bought out by United Healthcare, and that we weren't going to know anything about what was happening, but that we needed to keep it quiet, but probably there would be some changes, but mostly it was going to stay the same. So then I actually went into labor the next day on Saturday, had Hudson Sunday morning, and then happily went on to maternity leave, knowing that I wasn't super happy with my job, but the plan was still the same, that I was going to try and work from home mostly and go into the office when needed to be. And I was still hoping to have the best of both worlds. When Hudson was a couple weeks old, I was really struggling. He was a very hard baby. Baby blues were super real for me. I cried all the time if I was happy, if I was sad, if I was overwhelmed, if I just looked at my baby and thought he was the most adorable, I was crying all the time. And then that kind of subsided and it was better. And then when Hudson was, I don't know how old he was, but I was asked to come in. We were going to have a meeting about what being bought by United Healthcare was going to be like. And Hudson went with me to the office. We had this huge meeting where basically we were given an ultimatum of, we need to be making more sales to keep up with this company, and having people working their own schedule and working from home isn't working. So we're going to make it mandatory for you to come in. And so that really like put the nail in the coffin of, this job's not going to work for me. But I still had some maternity leave and was just going to wait it out and go talk with my husband, Kyle, about what our plan was. And to be really honest, I didn't have a plan. It was really hard, juggling the weight of motherhood and uncertainty of the future, and knowing that I didn't want to get another job, but that we needed money, that I didn't really have an option there. So before my maternity leave ran out, I decided that I was going to try and do things from home to make money. So I refurbished furniture. I did some woodworking, which is comical because we live in a second floor apartment. And I realized that just wasn't feasible to do that, even though I was making some decent money selling that stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And so I spent probably what felt like weeks. It just felt like it was this endless period of time of hopelessness, trying to figure out how I was going to make money, in a way that I also felt like my values and morals were being promoted. And so one day I was looking, Hudson was about 3 or 4 months old and was starting to like gnaw on things. So I started looking for teethers, and I wanted something that was very aesthetically pleasing, but was also affordable, because of course I'm not making any money at this point. So I want it to be affordable, and wasn't able to find one that was both. So I found a retailer online where I could buy the materials that I needed. However, the retail price of buying enough materials for just one ended up being more expensive. It's like that saying of, why buy it for $4 when you could craft it for $80, which is exactly what I ended up doing, because that company offers wholesale prices. So I went ahead and bought an amount where I could get the wholesale price, and I made pacifier clips and was just going to sell them however I could. Like, I was selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I posted them on my Instagram stories, and I sold all of them in just that 24-hour period of time, which was super exciting. And so I went ahead, I placed another wholesale order, and I started making stuff, but I was still in my maternity leave period and really hadn't really committed to quitting my job yet. And so one day, in our like GroupMe message, somebody sent a really unkind comment that I think had good intentions, but it really just told me, okay, it's time to leave. So I went ahead and called my boss. I put in my resignation while I was sitting in the HEB parking lot. And before I went into HEB, I created my Facebook account and my Instagram account for Hudson James Design Co. I went home, created my logos, and launched my page. And I haven't looked back since. I'm super excited to be creating the products that I do, and it brings me so much joy that I am selling products that are, like you said, I use food grade silicone, I use all natural maple wood, my onesies that I sell are organic cotton. I feel safe using it, and I feel good about the price that I'm charging people. We're very frugal people, so I want to make sure that my prices are really fair for the customers. I would be lying though if I said that all of my mental health woes were fixed right then though. I launched my Instagram and Facebook in October, so Hudson was about 4 months old. And at this point, the sleep deprivation was really starting to get to me. And so depression is something that I've struggled with before. That's okay to me. I know how to handle it. My husband also knew how to handle it. However, with the sleep deprivation, bad diet, it's getting winter time, I'm not going outside as much. I started struggling with postpartum OCD, and that was extremely isolating. So I was excited about my business, but then I started isolating myself because I was having these terrifying, intrusive thoughts that I didn't know how to handle. And I didn't want to tell people about these thoughts that I was having because I didn't want them to think badly of me. I was even afraid to tell my husband sometimes because I didn't want him to think poorly of me, of the thoughts that I was having. And so I struggled. And
Do you mind? I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to interrupt you because I want to know. I'm sure a lot of people aren't familiar with what you're talking about. So do you mind sharing a little bit more in depth about what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I really started feeling like I was seeing things out of the corner of my eye. Like I felt like there was a man in my house, which was really scary. And especially in the middle of the night, whenever I would go to feed Hudson, I would be so fearful that like somebody's hiding in his closet or something. And then having intrusive thoughts is scary. I know for some women, my stepmom, she just shared this with me. My brother is 6, and she's just sharing that she struggled with the same thing, but she said that she had these thoughts of like slitting her throat or harming my brother. For me, we were in Oklahoma, for example. This is just one example. We were in Oklahoma for a funeral. My dad and my mom were in cars behind us, and their families were in their cars. My family was in our car. And I just had this thought of, if we get in a car accident right now and die, like I could see it all happening of us just dying and my mom and my dad witnessing our brutal murder. And it was the most beautiful drive in Oklahoma. There was no reason for me to have that thought, and just these really scary thoughts about death and harming myself, things like
scary.
that.
Well, and it's almost a psychosis too, with the seeing things and paranoia, thinking somebody's in your closet. So that must have been very scary for you as well. And I think that a lot of moms struggle with this on to some degree, with thoughts of, especially if you're suffering like this with postpartum anything, of harming your child. And then you feel really horrible that you're thinking that. So then it creates this whole perpetual awful cycle.
Yeah.
So.
And I think in my own experience, I immediately wanted to stuff the thought, and that tended to make it worse. And fear that if I tell my husband, then he's not going to trust me to stay at home whenever I'm already struggling with wanting to be a stay-at-home mom, and hoping that he sees the value in me being at home. And I'm struggling with these scary thoughts. I don't want to tell him these things and then him not be able to trust me. So through my struggle with anxiety and depression before I was married, I knew that a change in diet, exercise, and talking to people was the best way for me to get help. And so those are all the things that I did. I did the Whole30 diet and started getting outside every single morning and walking at just about sunrise. And then I also was in a mom to mom Bible study at my church where I was able to connect with other moms who have infants and toddlers. And we actually were lucky enough right before coronavirus started, we had a marriage and family therapist that came to our Bible study and talked with us. And she shared the statistics of perinatal mental health, mood and anxiety disorder, PMAD. She shared that women suffer from it, dads suffer from it, and she shared the statistics, which I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was extremely common. And it resonated with me. I actually babysat for a woman whenever I was growing up who was a marriage and family therapist who became somebody who specializes in perinatal mental health. And so it just became apparent to me that this is a really big issue that nobody's really talking about. And like I said, my stepmom just a few weeks ago, who I was there with her throughout a lot of my brother's infancy, was struggling with a lot of the same stuff that I was struggling with. She even told me that she was put on an SSRI, and I had no idea. And so I have this business. I know that I'm struggling, and I know other women are struggling. And I know for myself, I'm more than happy to go buy my baby cutesy handmade products and spend money on my baby, but I'm not going to invest in myself. It's really hard for me to invest in myself. So I figured, what can I do to quietly encourage these moms where they don't know that it's coming, but I want them to know that they are worthy? That's something I really had trouble believing, that they are loved and that their role as being a mom has a beautiful, wonderful purpose. And so I write thank you notes in all of my orders. I started just writing encouragements in there. And then that led me to actually, I found these little wood flowers and I engrave scriptures on them. This one says, "When I'm afraid, I trust in you." And I just send these in the orders. So it's something that's tangible. You can put it somewhere, like wherever you're going to see it, and just as a reminder, to turn to the Lord in those really hard, scary times. And then also about that same time, I decided to strictly log into my business account. So I logged out of my personal Instagram account and went straight to my business account. And I was really worried about that because I did make quite a few sales off my personal account. But whenever I logged only into my business account, I had just done the giveaway with Kenna and Taylor and Alicia, and I almost doubled my followers, which still was not as many followers as I had on my personal account. However, my engagement was significantly higher, which was a huge blessing. But at the same time, I was creating this community of moms and moms to be who were having a lot of the same struggles that I was having. And we are able to encourage each other in marriage and motherhood and all of these things. And so it's become a huge passion of mine of being online, creating a community where women can talk about the hard stuff and encourage each other.
Wow. And I agree with Kenna. I love your little flowers, but I love the personalness of the encouragements and the thank you notes. That just, I think that has to mean so much to people. But I think the best part about what you've done, Taylor, is giving people a safe space, giving moms a safe space where they know that they're not alone, and created a purpose for yourself and a mission for yourself. That's absolutely amazing. So give us some advice. What would you say? Well, there's a couple of things here that we need to cover for sure. Somebody's suffering, other than connecting with you and other moms who are suffering, where would you say that people should seek help? Where should they go to get the help that they need in these situations?
Yeah, so I found a lot of solace in other moms who are struggling with perinatal mental health as well. So I have created a really good friendship with somebody who struggles with postpartum depression, and just talking with her has helped. But also, I'll have to find the center's name, but the lady who I babysit for lives in the Woodlands, and she goes and works at a place. Let me look it up actually while I'm on right here so that I can tell you, because it's local and it services the greater Houston area. And I'm fairly certain they have a free hotline where if you're really struggling, you can call them and you can talk to somebody who's licensed and can talk to you and know what they're talking about rather than just a friend.
Okay, so while you're doing that, let me remind everybody, if you guys are live on Facebook or on Zoom with us, please say hello and give Taylor some love. By the way, she's doing a great mission here. So everybody make sure you drop bunches of hearts and give Taylor some love for all the beautiful things she's doing and how she's working so hard to not only overcome her own struggles, but to help other mommies do the same. And put your name down. Well, at least say hi, because if you say hi, we know that you're there. And if we don't know where you're there, we can't enter you in the drawings. And Taylor has some fun stuff that she wants to give away to you guys today. So make sure to say hi in the comments. Okay, Taylor, did you figure out who it is?
Yeah, so you can go to www.com, C as in cat, P as in pizza, FH.org, and you'll be able to find a bunch of resources at that website.
Perfect. What about finding somebody who you can say, I need you? Like, how can a mom who's already horrified of her own thoughts and afraid of what she might do find a safe person that she can reach out to say, I need you, I need help, I need something? Because I think the other huge problem here is mommies don't want to ask for help.
Yeah, I think I was actually just listening. I posted a podcast that I listened to right before this on my Instagram stories. And it was talking about perinatal mental health. And one of the things that they said is while you're pregnant, like in your second trimester, when things are still smooth sailing, you need to make a plan and you need to find somebody and prepare what you could expect in the postpartum period. And I think one of the points that she brought up is once you're in the thick of it, it gets way too hard to find a trusted person and be able to explain what you're feeling in that moment. But I think if you're able to have somebody that you can say, hey, I'm really concerned that this might happen. Can I come to you and you be a safe place while you're still pregnant? I think that's going to be your best bet. However, I think if you can find somebody who you know has struggled as well, they're going to be a safe place because they know how scary these thoughts can be.
Right, with no judgment. So that's a great piece of advice, though. Set it up in advance because you don't know you do not know you're going to struggle. You think everything's going to be fine, and it hits you from out of nowhere. So
to be honest, because of my previous struggles with anxiety and depression, I had voiced those concerns to my husband, but because talking about it is so taboo, I really thought that postpartum depression was going to look like not loving my baby. And that isn't it at all. I was madly in love with my baby, but that didn't change the fact that my hormones were crazy. I was sleep deprived and I was living off of Cliff Bars. So, I think he one time lamented of me saying that I was worried, like, what if he comes out and I don't feel connected? And that was our discussion beforehand. And so I think if you can educate yourself, I didn't even know that postpartum OCD was a thing until I was in the thick of it. And so if you can educate yourself, I think having a conversation with your OBGYN or midwife is really important about what it could look like before.
Right. Excellent advice too. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to go a different direction now. What would you say your keys to your success in your business are?
I try to be really authentic, and also I will not sell a product that I wouldn't buy myself. So I try and have a very high standard for myself in the products that I sell.
Oh, that's awesome. So I know you have a couple of things to give away, but before I'm going to want you to show everybody some of the stuff. But before you do, I want to remind everybody, guys, if you are live on here, please say hello because we really want to put you in the drawing. Ken is over there quickly putting names in so we can spin the wheel of names. And we love and enjoy being able to feature these moms who are doing their thing, who are overcoming and having great success, and sharing with you some amazing products and services and giving it away. They take their time to come and talk to you, and they give these things away to you guys. So make sure to say hello so that we can make sure to put you in the drawing. Now, why don't you show everybody what you've got there?
Yeah, so I'm going to do 10% off for everyone who's on the call right now. So if you go to my website, which is hudsonjamesdesignco.company.site, you can use the code MOMMYANDME and receive 10% off your entire order. I have a link for custom orders. So if you wanted to do a custom order, that's my absolute favorite thing to make for you guys. And then one winner will get 50% off an order off of my website. And then I'm giving away a goodie box, which will include the Declan clip from my website, which is this beautiful green, marble, and white color. And then I will also include a Lovey, which is this peachy green color with a teething ring on it. And then I have a friend who has a similar heart in ministry as I do. She creates these mirror decals that have scriptures on them. This one says, "And let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of faith." And it sticks to your mirror, so it's a daily reminder of Jesus is the one that we turn to for all of our hope and strength and all of this throughout this wild and crazy ride in motherhood.
Wow, this has been very emotional for me today. And I haven't even had a mom, I've been a mom, but not of a baby in a long time. What's your friend's company name? Let's give her a shout out too.
Her Etsy is Mirror Ministry.
Mirror Ministry. Okay, awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you really enjoyed Taylor. Give her a thumbs up down below if you did. And give us some comments and some love. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can always be around when we have something to talk about. Talk to you soon. Bye.